Hey friends, welcome into my craft room, Heidi Sonboul DIY. Today's episode, we're going to be making some easy, chic, high-end summer farmhouse decor pieces using Dollar Tree supplies and a couple other random things I have around my craft room. Now come along and let's make something beautiful for our homes. I was at the Dollar Tree and I came across these brand new mirrored frames. I thought they were so beautiful and I thought it would be really cool if we can turn it into a high-end, expensive looking lantern. Now I've got some of these shish kebab sticks and a few of these craft wood pieces that I get from the Dollar Tree. Start by taking apart the frame. We're going to take out the screws and then we're going to just work with these frames. Now I want to give it a farmhouse flair. So what we're going to do, we're going to take these shish kebab sticks. I'm going to cut them down so they're right length between corner to corner. And you do have that rounded top, so it's not exactly a corner, but corner to top. And then you're going to cut a whole bunch of them at the same length. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our hot glue and we're going to glue these down. The first stick going against the frame is going to go down perfectly, but the second one you're going to have to weigh it down a little bit to keep it in place while that hot glue dries. Once it dries at first little bit, go ahead and then add in a whole bunch more glue to really lock it in. And it works perfectly because these frames have some texture in there, which is going to really allow that glue to hold it into place. I put the 4 aside and now I've got 3 rectangle wood pieces and 1 square wood piece. Bringing the 3 together with the square on top, all gluing it together, this is going to create the base of our lantern. I'm going to add in lots of glue because I want to make sure everything is locking together nicely. Make sure everything's smushed in closely. And now we're going to start to assemble the frames. I'm going to use hot glue and a little bit of E6000 in there to make sure that these are gluing in place. And I actually turned on the fan to help the glue dry quicker, so that way I didn't have to hold it as long, because it really is best if you just hold these in place while the glue is settling. You can see that I've got that hot glue going in there and I had the E6000 in there as well. And we're going to just put the 2 sides in first, and then we're going to bring on the top and hold everything together while it's all drying. This is going to allow it to be nice and sturdy and not have any issues with breaking. And again, I'm just going to hold this in place while things dry. And once it's all dry, now we can start to secure it even more. I'm going to add in some more glue just because, again, I want to make sure it's high quality and doesn't just break easily. Now here I am coming in with my E6000 again. I'm going to put a dollop in each corner, and then I'm going to come back in the void of not having that E6000 and add hot glue. So you've got the long-term and the short-term hold, because we're building things that have quality here in our craft rooms. Once that's glued on, we're going to go ahead and take it, flip it upside down, and we're going to line it up right into the center of that wood piece. Now, it is a rectangle shape because these frames, when you put them together, it actually is a rectangle shape. And these wood pieces perfectly create a border around the frames, which is going to give it that lantern high-end quality look, something that you would see at like Pottery Barn or CB2. Now we're going to use some chess pieces. I love these for little finial type legs, and it's all from the Dollar Tree, so anyone can find these chessboard games in the toy section. I actually ended up using 4, not 6. I put 1 in each corner. Once those were dry, I'm using E6000 and hot glue to really secure it on there. Once that was all in place, I took it outside, gave it a nice, shiny, glossy coat of black paint, and at that point, it was ready for me to style for my home. Has such a high-end, chic quality look with a farmhouse flair. This craft is super simple. I love projects like this that have a high-end finish. I found this beautiful lemon bowl, their new decor at the Dollar Tree. I found this black candle pedestal, and we're going to just simply bring them together. And it's going to look so high-end for a candy dish somewhere in your home, or whatever you want to put inside it. You could put jewelry in it as well. You could even use it for like a dip for a party. It's up to you. I'm going to use this E6000 that's going to bond the glass together, as well as hot glue for the short-term hold of allowing the E6000 to dry. Take off the stickers from the bowl and the pedestal, glue those together once it's on there nice and tight, and you're just going to let it sit for a little bit to let it dry. Then I'm going to come back in with a bow. Friends, you don't have to add a bow. I actually had someone leave me a comment the other day telling me that I didn't have to put bows on everything, and I literally don't. But friends, I love bows, and I'm going to do what I like to do in my craft room. I think that it needs a bow, but the bow can be taken off. And please know that you don't have to do everything I'm doing. It's just I'm giving you ideas. You know, being a YouTuber, online crafter is a tricky job because I know how knowledgeable a lot of you are, and I love when you come in with good, uplifting advice, positive, helpful tips, because some of you leave some of the best comments about tips and tricks that I haven't learned or I haven't thought of, and I love that. But when there are comments that are left that are a little bit unkind, unChrist-like, that are like, you don't have to put a bow on everything. You're right, I don't, but I like bows, and I'm going to put a bow on it. So regardless if you put a bow on it or not, I hope you give this one a try because it's really easy to make, and I'm really grateful that you're here being positive. So thank you for everyone who is doing that here on my channel. I am so excited to share this project. Now, I saw a wreath online using these seed pod cups for gardening, and it was super expensive. I thought that's ridiculous. I know that they do have seed pod cups at the Dollar Tree, but they're not as good of a deal as if you just get them on Amazon. So I'm going to link the ones I got down below for this big pack. But I picked up these seed pod cups, and I'm going to turn them into a wreath. And it is going to look so farmhouse and so cute when I'm done. I'm so excited about this, to have this in my home. I've been wanting to make this for myself for a while, ever since I saw the inspiration, and I knew I could make it for cheaper. So what we're doing is I'm taking these cups and I'm just lining them up to see how many I need, and then I'm going to start gluing them together. Using the clips is the best for this project because it allows it to glue while you keep moving on to the next cup. Once I've gotten all the way around, and let me see how many I have so I can tell you exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I've got about 15 cups here. Now you can put in another one if you want to, or one less. You just squeeze it tighter. I went with 15. That looks about what I've got here. Once they're all glued together, I flipped it over to reinforce those cups, and I'm going to go through with a little bit more glue to make sure they're really locked in. I would not recommend putting this outside, only because these seed pod cups are meant to wither away. They're a green version of gardening cups when you're doing seed starters for gardening. So I would definitely recommend keeping this wreath inside in a pantry door, somewhere on a wall in your home that's really cute. You could chance it, but I wouldn't take it outside just because I know these cups are meant to wither away over time because it's a green efficient way of gardening. But with all that being said, I'm now moving on to the second layer. Now you can see that I went every other and I put down 4, and then we're going to need to take 1.5. We're cutting them in half, and you're going to just sneak that down in there, and you're going to keep trimming away at it until it fits in there nice and snug, and it looks like there's more cups that are stacked up in there. I will say the inspiration that I saw went all the way around with the whole second row, but I really wanted to use this "The Garden is My Happy Place" sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. Can you believe that sign was from the Dollar Tree? I found it in their garden section, and I was so giddy I bought 3 of them because I really like the sign. I think I might hang the other two on the two fences out in my backyard. I'm not sure yet, but I have a purpose for them. So now I'm going to come in with some foam to support that new row of cups because they are kind of hanging over a little bit. And I like to build things that are going to last. So I'm taking the foam square, I cut it in half, put that first piece down in there. It's the perfect height that I need for the cups to be able to rest on it. And that other one, I cut that in half so that way I can angle those corners to be able to work that all up in there. And you can just see I'm going to glue these three pieces together that I cut down. This was all originally the block of foam. And then I'm going to add the glue and place that right underneath so it helps support it. So those don't just, you know, get bent when you put it away off season. It's put away nicely, it's built nicely. Now I don't want to see that foam because it's just not pretty. So once I got some more glue in there to help support it and glue it all into place, I'm going to take some of my Spanish moss. I'm going to glue that right in with that glue while it's still warm. And now I'm going to work on the really cool sign that I found at Dollar Tree. I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile and I'm going to punch 2 extra holes so that way I can be able to support it onto this wreath that I'm making without it having any issues of falling off. I'm going to cut off this extra twine string. We don't need that. That can come off. And then I'm going to use some wire. Now be careful when you're wiring it on. If you use these cups, they are a thick cardboard, so be careful when you're wiring it because the wire can want to pull and rip if you pull too tightly. But I'm going to have a way that I'm going to secure that even more. So I'm going to add in my holes into the cups with the Crop-A-Dile. I'm going to take my wire, I'm going to wire it on, I'm going to twist it all into place on the 4 different corners where the little scrolls are coming around the frame. And then once I've done that, I'm going to come back in on the inside of those cups and reinforce it with some hot glue. That's going to help hold the wire in place. It's going to keep it from over time maybe ripping that cardboard piece from the cup. It's going to really secure everything nicely. And then you'll see in a minute, I'm going to use some green moss to be able to camouflage the wire. Now I wanted to put some greenery on this wreath because it's just a farmhouse look and I like how that looks. So I'm going to come in with this greenery pick that I got from the Dollar Tree. And now I'm going to start adding in that moss. So I'm just sprinkling it around. I'm not going crazy with it. I'm just looking, I want it to look like it's been out in the garden and moss has grown on it over time. And then you can see here, this is where I'm covering up those wire pieces so you don't see the wire anymore. It's all covered with the moss. Now down at the bottom, I decided to add a black and white gingham bow. I got this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I always pick it up around Halloween time. That's when I always find it. I'm adding a really beautiful bow. I'm going to trim off the tail so that I have it at an angle so it doesn't fray as easily. And then I could stop there, but I wanted to add a little bit of a flower sprig in here. I cut down some of these flower pieces and I'm just going to sneak those in there with some hot glue. And I really feel at this point it has really come together nicely. It looks so beautiful. I did add a couple more Spanish moss in some of the cups here and there. So you've got the green moss and the Spanish moss, and I love the combo of them together. What do you think, friends? This project was so fun for me to make, and I am so happy I finally got around to it. For this project, I'm going to be using this old calendar that I had on hand. They have a lot of really great calendars at the Dollar Tree that come out every year. This one was from 2023. I'm going to use this fresh lemons artwork and then as well as this large wooden plaque sign that's in the craft section at the Dollar Tree. We are going to turn this into a really beautiful wall hanging piece. I'm going to start by painting the wood white just around the edges, and then I'm going to glue on the artwork. This process is really simple. Just make sure when you're putting down your Mod Podge, don't put down too much that it's going to cause the paper to wrinkle, and work quickly. So you're going to take your artwork, you're going to lay it down, and you're going to smooth it out as quick as you can. It is going to want to wrinkle a little bit. And I know there's all kinds of really cool tips. If you have some working with Mod Podge, do leave them in the comments down below. But you can see that I used a ruler really quickly to smooth out as many wrinkles as I could. And as it dried, I had minimal wrinkles at the end. So if you have cooler tips, share them. Now I'm going to make a thicker paint. I'm adding some flour in with the white paint, and I'm just going to mix that all together, and I'm going to use that to clump around the edges of this artwork because I want it to look like a really old sign that has been painted over from buildings being painted many times. You see this in downtown old historical building type places. It just looks very farmhouse to me, and I just like how it looks. But you can do whatever you feel pleasing to your eye. I am now taking this paint and I'm just clumping it around the artwork so it kind of conceals where the start and finish is of it. And once I've got that on to a consistency that I like, you're going to want to make sure you give it some time to dry. The paint with the flour in there does take a little bit longer to dry, but just put a fan on it. I'm now going to come in and lightly distress it. And I actually ended up distressing it more than I wanted to. After I let the thing completely dry, I came back in and dry brushed on a little bit more white. I didn't want it to be too heavy on the distressing, but I did want some distressing. So distress it the way that you want it to be, or not at all. You don't have to do it either. See, at this point, it's still a little too heavy distress, and you'll see at the end I do a little bit less. Now I'm going to create a bow to hang it up as if this is the hanger. This is the best way to do it. Over the years I've been trying to figure out how to make a really pretty bow at the top of a frame that I'm hanging up. It's best to just make the bow and have the tails go down behind. And I'm going to glue those into place, and you're going to see I'm going to reposition them because I realized I shifted a little bit when I first started to glue them down. So just work quickly to make sure it's centered because you don't want your artwork to hang crooked. Glue down the rest of it to make that full commitment of locking it in. And then when you flip it over, you're going to want to add just a little bit of glue inside where the knot is so it doesn't unravel the bow over time. I'm locking the bow into place, and now it's ready to be hung up and displayed in your home. I found this placemat and thought, this needs to be a pillow. The fabric is so cute, and sometimes there are really adorable pillows we see that cost way too much. This thing was $1.25 for this fabric, and I'm going to take this really darling, whimsical yellow and white checkered fabric, and I'm going to just place my placemat right on top of it, and you're going to want about an inch around the placemat further out for the pattern you're going to be working with. This is the quickest way to make a pillow without getting out your sewing machine. And I know some of you don't know how to sew. I'm going to start sewing more here on my channel just because I would really like to teach those kind of things, and I love working with a sewing machine. But what we're going to do, I'm going to take that fabric. We want pattern to pattern, and you can see I've got that bordered all the way around it. Watch how easy this is. I know there have been a lot of tutorials here on YouTube on how to make a hot glued pillow, but this one is the easiest, quickest way and has the cleanest, efficient look. I put a bead of glue, I pulled over that inch of fabric, and I'm going to massage that in. You want to make sure it's really massaged into the two fabrics so that way it looks nice and locked in. And we're going to do it on the other side. And then you're going to come down to the bottom. Now the bottom is where there's just a little extra step, but it's not hard. We're going to take the bottom corners and we're going to fold it in just a little bit like this. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. just a little bit like this. And then we're going to bring over that flap and we're going to glue down the other part of this inch of fabric hanging over the placemat. Just simply pull it over and massage it into place. Now the top is a little bit different because we need to be able to put our batting in. So once we've got the bottom completely glued over and into place, you've massaged it into place, the top we're only going to do the corners before we can actually finish this pillow. You can see that I folded over those corners. I put just a little bit of glue. I came out about 1.5 inches. I'm going to make sure I still have that opening so that way I can flip it inside out. And these corners, look at how clean these corners are. Look at that. Super clean corners without glue being everywhere, without having any issues of things puckering the wrong way. I'm going to just bring these bottom corners out, flip it all the way. And again, friends, I highly encourage sewing these pillows, but if you don't know how to sew, this is the next best thing. So whatever it is, or you're just trying to come up with something really quick for a season or something you want to decorate your house with, this is a really easy way to do it. Go ahead and flip everything inside out, and then we can start stuffing the pillow with the batter that you have. Here's a tip, by the way, at the end of Christmas seasons, wherever they have those little cute miniature homes that you can decorate in your house, they always sell snow batting, and they discount that stuff at the end of Christmas season. That is what this is. This is just from a Christmas sale where they sell those little houses. I got it really cheap. So I use that a lot of times to stuff pillows. Now that I've got the whole pillow stuffed, you're going to see that that seam line is already created because it's folded over on the inside. I'm going to lift it up here so you can see it better. But you're going to want to make sure you push the batting back just a little bit. It'll make it easier to close up the last of this seam. See how I'm going to hold this up here? You can see that it's already naturally folding for you. This is the actual cut line. I'm going to just push that down in there, get everything all lined up, and then that way I can add in my glue and look at how clean that line's going to be. Again, I know that this is not rocket science here. I'm sure a lot of you could figure this out, but if you've never done one of these before, this is really quick and easy, and we're going to make ourselves a pillow that I made for maybe $2, and they sell these pillows, oh man, $30. I am always so amazed at how much things cost when you're a crafter. I know you all get it. You can make it yourself for way cheaper. Now I'm just going to lock that all in, and then once it's dry, we can shift around the batting, give it a nice push around, beat around, get that fluff moving where you want it to go. But like I said, make sure the glue is nice and massaged in. Look at how cute this little lemon pillow is. I am going to style it here in my craft room on a chair, but I'm planning on putting this out on my sun deck because I have yellow cushions for my patio area. I think that this is just going to be so cute out there, styled for the summertime. And that's pretty much it. I hope you give this one a try. It's really easy to make, and it'll save you so much money. Today's episode was a lot of fun to share these 5 projects with you. I hope you will give some of them a try, or at least try some of the techniques. I'm so grateful you all stopped in today. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I'm going to recommend this video right here that came out just the other day. I hope you'll go watch it if you haven't already. Thanks so much for being here, and until the next episode, bye friends.